Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We've taken a few weeks off because we were just kind of all really busy and had so much stuff going on that we weren't really sure on sort of the direction that we were going to go with this channel. And so we were reviewing and just sort of regrouping and getting everything back to together again. So this is Lightworker's Secret to Success. And if you're watching this, you're probably a light worker, and you found us. And we are all light workers here. Pamela, who is normally with us, has another meeting tonight, so she can't make it. But I'm so glad that you're here. And this is one of my favorite subjects. And I've been following it now probably for about 2 years when I first started to hear about it. And there's a lot of truth to this. It's been around probably much longer than that. I have heard, according to Rebecca, up to 80 years that the technology has actually been here, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of things about med beds, if you look at like Star Wars, they had like a med bed technology type of thing. In the first one, when Luke is on that thing and is attacked by that bear or that creature, whatever it is, and he's all messed up, and he's later in this water thing and he's regenerating, like he's on his deathbed almost, and then he comes back and he's perfectly healthy with no injuries. Star Wars, they have countless times when they're in these chambers and their bodies are being reconditioned. If you've ever watched the movie Starship Troopers, which is one of my favorite movies, which was like, I think a movie made in the 90s, mid 90s. And they actually have like a little machine that's just going in and just repairing it. So kind of that's what med beds are. So if you're not really familiar with med beds, I'm going to post a link in there. This girl, whoever did this, the site, I mean, she's just got so much stuff on there, but she goes into depth about med beds. And so that's where I pulled a lot of my information from. If you're not sure on how much med beds cost, I've heard $100,000, which to be honest is pretty cheap when you consider all the medicine and everything that you've ever taken. When you really don't need to have all that medicine or all that pharmaceutical stuff, you could just have a med bed. It'd probably save you money, and you'd be way, way healthier than the pharmaceutical stuff that's out there, which by the way, I don't take at all, but to each its own. And if you want to take it to get rid of a headache or to do whatever, then that's totally up to you. But I don't take any kind of chemicals at all anymore, just because I just don't like the way I feel afterwards. So Amanda, I know you had some thoughts in the different types of med beds, because there is more than one type and they all sort of do different things.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to explain this evening, was because we always talk about med beds, and a lot of people, it's foreign to even think about what is a med bed, what is it? And really it's the quantum healing technologies that have been around for a long time. And I think Rebecca's right. I think they've been around since like the 1940s, I believe, is what we've been kind of being told and hearing about. But there are 3 different kinds, and so each one does something different. So the cool thing is, one is a holographic med bed. So this is to provide diagnoses for illness, and then also treat those illnesses in a much shorter time with far less invasive technology than conventional medical methods that we're used to being treated with. And I think also that it would really pinpoint exactly what's wrong, because you go to the doctor now and they're like, oh, well, it could be this or it could be that, right? And so they're just kind of they're making their best guesstimate. But I think these will really be able to pinpoint exactly what the illness or disease is and treat it that way. Another type of med bed is really interesting, is the regeneration bed. And this is for someone who, like for myself, I would really want to get in there because I don't have a gallbladder. So these are for people who are requiring like organ replacement or organ transplant, or if they're missing an organ or missing a limb or kind of skin grafts due to burn injuries. it can regenerate your body in that way. So that, I just think that's really awesome. The third type of med bed that they have is for age and memory regression bed. And this is really cool for, I work with seniors, and I think it'd be amazing to put seniors in there to see, what kind of transformation we can see with their mental health, their memory, just physically feeling better. So like this med bed would provide the physical body age with regression. So one of the examples they give you is that a 90-year-old woman could be regressed to 30 and be able to bear children and enjoy the benefits of a young, healthy body. So, so this would be for memory regression, memory healing. It can help release trauma and PTSD and depression and all those other kind of memory impairments that we are really seeing plaguing the senior community. So this is really cool. They say that the beds include the use of plasmatic energy, and so instead of radiation and or like chemotherapy for optimized and balanced health. So those are the three different ones that you can choose from. But we follow a guy that we've been following for kind of a while, off and on, right, guys? Simon Parks, and he's really into med beds, and he wants to be involved in like the rollout of those med beds. I think here in America and then all over. He really wants to be. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe Rebecca, you could talk a little bit more about that if you choose to. I don't know, but I think it's just this whole topic is just like super amazing. What our health is going to look like in the very near future.
Yes, I did hear Simon Parks recently say that he was coming to America from the UK. He's got a big following over here. It's a group of people that he's been talking to for years, and they're all people who are interested in awakening and being aware and conscious and seeing through the lies. Now, he has talked about how there would be a med bed in every hospital, but because they have such healing properties, a lot of surgeries would never be done. People would be healing of things that they take medication for, forever. Diabetes and all these long-term chronic illnesses would disappear. So, of course, pharmaceutical companies aren't going to be really on board with this. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. And I also heard from another practitioner in Australia who's been trained on how to operate a med bed, and she's been on one herself. And she did look pretty good on the video compared to how she looked a little while ago. I was kind of impressed by that. But she said that, unfortunately, if you've had something that changed your DNA, like the vaccination, because that does change your DNA, you have to go have a DNA sample taken before you actually go on the med bed. And it takes about 2 weeks to process the sample that's taken, because what the med bed does is it goes back to your original DNA function, the way you were built when you were first born, and without any problems. And then it recreates and corrects whatever has come along in your life as you got older that might have been causing you a problem internally or even mentally. And it can almost reform you back to your original perfect self. Mm-hmm. And, someone else even explained, a very spiritual person explained, you don't really need a med bed to heal yourself, because it's dealing with quantum energy. And the quantum field, of course, is also known as the fifth dimension, the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. So if you're able to lift your thought into the place where you're already perfect, you can do it that way. But of course, if you've lost an organ that needs to be regenerated, or a limb, they're saying you can actually get a limb back.
Yeah, I think it's just amazing. And one thing I forgot to mention is that I use the med bed energetically. So I will place people in a med bed with intention, and I'll ask their higher self, like, okay, what med bed do you need to be in? What dimension do you need to be in? For how long? And then I'll place them in that med bed energetically for, you know, X amount of time. I did this, was it last week? So I went to my grandma's and I had like this coughing attack. Like I could not stop coughing over and over and over. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get to sleep? So I just asked my body, do you want to go into the med bed? It's like, yes, please. And I was like, okay, what dimension? It said the 9th dimension. I was like, okay, so for how long? It said only 5 minutes. So I was like, okay. So I laid there and I just envisioned myself in the med bed. And I just, you know, said it was clearing my throat. It was healing whatever was causing all this stuff. And it was, you know, I was coughing and wheezing too. It was really weird. Anyway, so I laid there and I knew I was safe in the med bed and I was able to literally fall asleep. Whereas before I wasn't able to. And when I woke up, I was fine.
Nice.
So you can use that for a lot of different things. I've done it for headaches. I've done it for different pains and aches in the bodies. I've had a lot of different people, you know, reaching out to me, asking me to place them in the med bed or in just conversation if they're having aches and pains. Or say, oh, do you want to go in the med bed? So I do that too. So it's you, I mean, you have that option as well, is using it energetically through intention and just imagining yourself in that chamber. And each med bed looks a little different, but you can, you know, get inventive with your imagination and ask your body, you know, what dimension does it want to go into and for how long? I mean, worst case scenario, nothing happens, but best case scenario is that it works and that you feel much better.
Absolutely. And you know, people may think it's far-fetched to think that you can grow back a limb. But when I first took up the study of spiritual healing in my 20s, many decades ago, there was a story that floated around that I would hear about a man in South America who had actually lost a limb and grew it back. And people talked about it. I never found out who it was exactly, but I do think anything is possible. Age reversal. I mean, we even see women now. I don't know if they get a lot of help from the obstetrician, but I've read stories of women in their 60s having babies. So anything's possible. And I think these med beds are around. And it's just a matter of finding the right time to bring them forward into the public, because as we know, there are a lot of things that have already been around for a long time that nobody knows about. What have you heard, Adam? I know you know a lot about med beds.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, a lot of things you guys already talked about, but you know, with med beds and with, you know, the stuff coming out about med beds is oh, I had a really good thought and I just lost it, but it'll come back to me in a second. What were you guys talking about? Amanda had said something that triggered me.
About intention and
Oh yeah. So, you know, med beds right now are a 3-dimensional thing because it's physical. If you actually get into the 5th dimension, everything is energy. And you have to remember that because it's energy, your intention alone can change your health. And so that is also a med bed when you're able to hold that vision in your head. And if you remember, thoughts create things. Amanda has a friend, what's her name? Brenda? No, what's her name? Yeah, Brenda. Yeah, and she actually has a community for that where they'll just hold an intention to heal you energetically. Yeah. And I got to tell you, it works tremendously. And the more that we are ascending out of the 3rd dimension and into the 5th dimension, your thoughts alone are much stronger than what you even know they are. And when you're able to harness those and really focus in on the illness or the ailment, or, you know, if it is a missing limb, I mean, it would be pretty freaky if you saw someone's hand get cut off and they just focused on it and you saw it grow back, kind of like in like Men in Black with that one alien when he gets shot in the head and then his head comes back and it just starts popping open. Like, I don't know if it would be like that, but I mean, anything is possible. And that's the exciting part, is that, you know, we've been told a lie for so long that who knows what's going to happen and who knows on how that's going to shape. And, I firmly believe that, the Arcturians, they are the masters in health and that kind of technology, and they gave us this technology. So, I mean, if once you tap into that, my goodness, it's exciting. It's, when you think about it, like no more cancer, no more, Lou Gehrig's disease, no more, Parkinson's, all these things that I believe were created to try to slow us down and try to make us feel bad and feel sorry and try to, divert our attention away from, just health and prosperity. It's just, to me, it's just so exciting. And I know med beds are the step in the right direction. And so, yeah, anyways, it's exciting to sort of see where this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I guess another term for medbed is holographic medical pod. I was kind of doing a little research for this video. And so it's really interesting, like you guys said, to think about that there's this technology that'll just reprogram your DNA. It works with the scalar energy, which is actually interesting because I got this email and I have no idea where like how I got on their list, but they have this like 15-day free trial for scalar energy. So for the last, like, I think I'm on day 9 or something, they've been sending me scalar energy, and it's supposed to heal everything. So it's because it's energetic, it's like you don't even really need the bed, which is cool. So I think it's cool that you can, like Amanda said, use your intention to just call in the scalar energy to heal and just reprogram your DNA or whatever you've been asking to heal in your body. And it was interesting because it's just amazing how our body responds to just simply like asking. Because yesterday I was so tired. I don't know, like it was, I did a class, I taught a class on Saturday. And I don't know if it was because of that or the solstice yesterday or whatever, but I was so tired, like exhausted. Like I was in bed, and I finally got up in the afternoon to go get food, and I'm just like driving and I'm like, I'm so tired right now. So I just started intending, I'm like, actually like prayed, but it's the same thing. It's all just like the energy, the universal God force energy of like, my body is healed. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I cast out any dis-ease in my body, and I was fine the rest of the night. So yeah, so it's just really amazing how we can actually heal ourselves, and all of us pretty much do that, I think. Rebecca has that amazing story of healing her hip, and all of her breast, her
I did need a little medical attention though with the hip situation.
That's true, but I think you healed like super fast, right?
Oh, yeah. And even today, I went for a long walk in Newport, Rhode Island, and my friend Avery said, "How do you feel?" I said, "Avery, it's like nothing bad ever happened to me." And when I was in the hospital, I asked the doctor that was in the room with me, "Have you ever heard of med bed?" And he said, "No, what's that?" He was going to go check it out.
And I can't find where you could even go. Like I tried like searching, like where can you like go to a med bed, and I could not find anything. So I don't even know like where these med beds are. It says they came out in 2018. But yeah. What I did find was, I guess there's something you can put under your bed, like the scalar energies. I think it was like $20,000 or something, but it'll turn your bed into a med bed. So that was interesting. That was the closest thing I could find to like actually being able to buy a med bed, is this whatever it is that you buy and you put it under your bed. So yeah, the whole scalar energy is really interesting. I have something called a Healy, and that uses some kind of, I don't know if it's scalar energy, but some kind of energy that it resonates with your DNA and just heals whatever it needs to heal. So it's just so amazing, all of these technologies coming out that just work energetically with the machines, and you just say like, hey, fix whatever my body's asking for, and then it fixes it. So what a time to be alive, right?
Exactly. And so many people had said that, when I first found out, oh, this won't be around in our lifetime. And I'm like, it'll be in our lifetime. My prediction, you'll see it like on the mainstream, like by 2025 is when I really predict when you're really going to see it. And they're going to just clean up all the stuff that's been going on. And I also had heard that it'll help with drug addicts and drug use and different things to help cure them and help get them off of the drugs. And so it is so exciting to see all this. And go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh no, I was just listening, but yeah, I like the idea too that it will work on the mind to bring back memory. People will start thinking better because they've all been kind of in a trance of late. I mean, many people have been saying it's almost as if they're just not completely functioning, some people, so it'll bring back their critical thinking and their ability to see things better, I'm sure. Yeah. Now you're Canadian. Did you ever hear of the Rife machine? Because that came from Canada.
I heard of it. Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah, that was some kind of frequency machine. And people around here where I live, a lot of them got Lyme disease. And I heard of people getting cured using that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my client, she had 3 original Rife machines. I think she knew the inventor of the Rife machine. And she actually sold them to different nonprofits, or she might have donated them. I don't know, but she had them for her son that had cancer. And I think he had colon cancer. So he lived a lot longer than he was supposed to because he would use the Rife machine. And there's a place in Portland, Oregon called Chelsea Sanctuary, and they had one of the Rife machines, and I think that organization got it from my client. And I used it there. They have a whole bunch of different like technology and energy. It's just, when I got there, I had to get up like, I don't know, it was so early, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning to drive there, because it's like a 3.5 hour drive, and I wanted to get there like as soon as it opened so that I'd have the chance to like use everything while we're there. And they have so many different alternative technologies there, and in fact, I don't know if it was a med bed there, but I remember getting into a chamber. And now that I'm like thinking back, I remember it was like this dark room, and it kind of looked like a tanning bed because you kind of shut it, and it was like all these different lights would go in different directions. So yeah, I think that may have been a med bed. And that was the first time I had rolfing done. Have you guys heard of rolfing? Yeah, I had that done. And when I left there, like I was so tired. It was a whole day of healing. It was the first time I ever had like ionic foot bath and like all this other stuff. And when we left, like we were tired, but we were just so energized because our blood was pumping. We had oxygen going through our entire body. We did all this stuff and we felt amazing after that. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool with the healing and where they're coming, and what we know now, and what med beds will do and take us that much farther. And you just think, as we're expanding our consciousness and it's growing and growing and growing, oh my goodness, it's so exciting to see where this goes. It really, really is. And to see people not just surviving anymore, but thriving, and not thriving in something that makes them money just to pay the bills, but something that their purpose is here for. Just think about how exciting that would be if, I would probably say, if I were to guess, it would probably be less than 1% are probably living with their purpose in the entire world. Think about if we had 10% of the world's population living in their purpose. And then the purpose is driven by passion, and then you just think about where that would go and how much better this would be. This would really be heaven on earth for so many people, on the things that would be being created, on how we could make everyone's lives better, how there would be no more third world countries, on how literally we would instantly change the world in probably 10 years or less. If we're all working together and we all have a common goal and we're united in that common goal, my goodness, no more wars, no more, drug trades, sex trades, all this sort of stuff that just, I don't know, it's exciting to see. And I know healing is the first part of it. And I know so many of you have so many healing modalities. It's amazing. And if that's sped up even more by MedBeds, because you guys can only reach so many people and only heal so many people. And a lot of times it takes a long time to do. I think if MedBeds were to speed some of that stuff up and do it even more for more people, it'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Any final thoughts, Colette, Rebecca, Amanda? No? Awesome.
Lots to look forward to.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you got some valuable information out of this. This is the Lightworkers Secret to Success channel. We're all about anything 5D or higher. So we just try to bring the latest and greatest, all these different technologies. I love the new technologies that are coming out. It's really, really cool. So if you like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like, comment, please. We do respond. And we hope to hear from you soon. If you're a light worker and you want to be interviewed by us live on the station, please reach out and we're happy to interview you and get your story out. And no judgments, no nothing. We just love talking to different light workers. So we hope to see you all soon. We'll be on next Monday. We're not doing Fridays anymore, at least for the summertime. Anyways, we're all kind of busy on Friday nights at that time. So we will talk to you all